Okay. Okay, so. Wil je niet een bier of voor je niet? Can we put the beer there?
Sure, give me a beer and put it over here.
Langs. Oh, you said, yeah, you see.
Those of you watching now get to see behind the scenes as we put stuff on the screen here. Because we're already live. There's the beer. Okay.
Yeah, for Chris for later.
Let me see. Yeah, we'll have that one for later. So to say, beer for Danie. Is it yay or yai?
Yay.
It's yai, so I thought. You always messed it up. Okay, yai. Right for Danie. Boar beer. Hey, folks, welcome back to the broadcast. This is Chris on Chris Wyatt Reports live from somewhere in an undisclosed location deep in the bowels of an industrial park in Pretoria somewhere. Now, seriously, I'm here with Boer Beer's Danie Barnard, the founder of the company, yes?
Yes, with myself and my brothers. We
Okay.
founded the company 2 years ago now. Henk actually reminded me it's now almost 2 years old in the lockdown when it was terrible and people couldn't really, there was an alcohol ban. So we figured out a way to get quality beer, a loophole. So it was not alcohol that we sold, it was wort. So that's the beer before it's actually.
The wort, yeah, wort, W-O-R-T, yes.
Yes.
I am a veteran of many brewery tours, so I'm familiar with wort, including Carlsberg and Coors and so many others. But so, are you crazy?
Why?
Who starts a business in the middle of lockdown?
A Boer does, because a Boer always makes a plan.
Ah, okay, I've heard that phrase before. So, but seriously, I'm kidding, but that's a crazy thing to do when businesses are collapsing around the world, especially in South Africa, which had a really hard lockdown where people were locked in their homes. And if a woman was caught nursing her child on the sidewalk, she got fined and got arrested. It's crazy times. But you started this 2 years ago in the midst of lockdown, and it was still a heavy lockdown.
Yeah.
So, why did you do that? I mean, look, I'm impressed. Yeah, entrepreneurialism, I love to see that. So, but what made you do that?
So I had to pay cuts with the COVID because there's so many people, and I had to do something to make up and to cover the bills.
The shortfall.
Yeah, and I thought about the idea, and we just started out, and it went well, and we were very blessed and happy and lucky that we got the support of the people. We didn't really spend anything on marketing or anything.
Word of mouth.
It was all word of mouth, and it just exploded. And so many people on YouTube actually endorsed it for us. And it just went crazy after that. And they opened up the alcohol again, but people kept on buying the wort because we actually got people into making home brewing again. And that's what the breweries also told me, that they were actually happy for us because we got more people into craft brewing. Because South Africa likes monopolies. There's monopolies in everything.
They do. You and I were talking before the broadcast about that.
So people like the big ones, but there's so many good quality other craft breweries in South Africa that hopefully when people start making their own beer, they will go and explore more other smaller breweries and brands and support them, because it's important now. People they were not allowed to do business for 2 years. So they need all the support that they need from them.
So those who watch my program know that I'm a bit of a beer snob.
Okay.
I only drink beer brewed by the German Reinheitsgebot.
Yes.
So in this part of the world, in the past, it's only been Windhoek Lager that was really that met that standard. So I drink. The problem is in Botswana, when I would buy it, they use really cheap bottles, and you got to be careful when you pick it up from the store and you set the case down, you smash the bottom of the bottles. So I lost more than a few bottles of Windhoek Lager when I lived in Botswana. But so I was one of those YouTube content creators that did cover stuff, that didn't endorse your stuff, and that's because I never drank it. I won't endorse something I never tasted. So you guys offered to send me some stuff, and I think I cautioned you. I said, I don't know if you got the word, but I said, thank you, I appreciate that, but you're going to find out that it's almost impossible to get it.
So it almost cost 5,000 rand to send like a 6-pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Air fried, and that's crazy, because there was some interesting companies from overseas. They wanted to buy into the company, and we sent some samples, and we saw it was crazy expensive. But we decided against that because it's a South African company. We want to keep it a South African company, and we don't want to really sell, because obviously when something goes big and viral, everyone wants a piece of that and wants to. But it's not always as easy. Winter time is not a good time for the beverage industry. Our sales goes down.
And of course, we're in Southern Hemisphere, so we're at the end of winter right now.
Yeah, and we compete against the big monopolies in South Africa, and it's very tough. But we are very fortunate. Sorry, my phone. I'll switch it off now. Okay. We are very fortunate to have a very loyal support base. So the people really, really supported us, and it was the people that actually that built the brand. It was not really us; it was the people, because it was a brand for the people, by the people.
So you can almost say that it grew by accident.
It grew by accident. The cola was a joke. We started out with a joke because we don't like to get involved in politics, but we don't also like other companies to get involved in politics. It goes both ways.
Well, there's a certain American company based in Atlanta that didn't intend to get involved in politics, but what happened was someone leaked some of their training courses that were being offered on LinkedIn, and we won't mention who that is. Anyway, so that was kind of a big deal. Now, I did a lot with that. I did videos in which I was being less white.
Yeah.
Now, I drink Coke, but I don't like the Coke that's in America because they make it with high fructose corn syrup.
I know. There's many Americans that come to our shop and they come and buy when they visit South Africa, and they told us they normally import cold drink from Mexico.
That's where I get my Coke from.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, quite honestly, this is an opinion, but my opinions are pretty solid. Coke in a bottle tastes much better than in plastic, normal. And Coca-Cola definitely tastes better in a bottle than plastic. So the Mexican ones come in bottles. They make it with cane sugar, and it's pricey. In fact, a case of 18 bottles used to cost me $17, so under $1. It's $32 now.
Yeah. Over
the last year because of this stupidity with COVID. So I also like to drink one. I don't know if you know this brand, Royal Crown Cola. RC
I
Cola.
know about them.
They used to sell here in South Africa for a little bit.
I heard, but I know I saw the story, and they also bought up other company, a fast food restaurant chain.
But they're still in existence, and they still make it by the same recipe. And they're actually, I think, 1905 or something. They've been around a long time. But when I was a kid, they had this advert that ain't nothing good enough for me and my RC. So that's so I like Royal Crown when I can get it, but I drink the Coke from Mexico. So I can say this, Danie, is that when I came, you offered me a Coke, and in the plastic, which I normally would shirk away from. But I did have one. I've received no money for this endorsement. I'm going to endorse it right now. I will tell you that the Boar Cola, how do I pronounce it correctly? Boar Cola. I can never get the Boar Cola. It was fantastic. I really liked it. So you didn't know that endorsement was coming now. So I'm just
thank you.
Yeah.
And you were honest, because my reps took, when you were at a bride, I took some old stock, and you told me that in the can was not so good, and I told you, okay, and I know what the problem was. It was expired stock. So that's what we normally give out to friends and families.
You give friends and families the expired stock. Okay, it's good to be connected. No. Thank you for saying that, because the viewers don't know that. I came here and I told a couple people privately. I said I had Boer beer when I had a bride with Steve Hofmeyer, and I couldn't judge the flavor because they were putting brandy in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know what the flavor. Then later I had a can of it when I was in Amazon Todi, and I'm like, boy, I'm gonna have a hard time endorsing this drink. Then I came here, gave me a fresh one out of the fridge, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So
thank you. I think you're gonna like the beer.
Well, yeah, but the beer, people know that I have a rule: 1 drop, no drive.
But tonight, have to.
Tonight I'll try it.
Need to WhatsApp me.
Yeah, I will. In fact, I'll probably video me drinking it. So maybe I'll live stream me drinking the beer, and so you'll get the real reaction. So if I drink it, I'm like, then you'll know it's not good. But if I enjoy it, you'll know.
I'm very confident. I know you're gonna like it.
Okay, well, I hope so. But so lockdown really isn't over. That's why this beard is still here. This is a response to lockdown. When the National Coronavirus Command Council is eliminated and removed, then I'll consider cutting it off.
I saw a news article. They said the 5th wave is coming.
Cool. Let's go to the beach in Durban. We'll go surfing. 5th wave, man. Cowabunga.
But it's crazy. I don't hope that they close down business. It's just unfair to tell someone you can't do business anymore. It's just
no, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's destroyed so many lives in so many different ways. But we don't want to get into that because YouTube will start looking at the channel and give us a hard time. So let's just stick with the. So the beer was first.
Yeah, the wort. We started out with the fresh wort.
The wort, not brewed beer,
not brewed beer.
The ingredients to do home craft brew.
Yes.
Okay, and then you came with this once the restrictions were up.
Yeah.
And the Coke.
The cola came as a joke because we saw some companies that got politically correct and they wanted to take a stance. And we made a joke on Facebook, and we said, look, we work in the beverage industry, we can develop one, because we wanted to do one. It was in the pipeline because we wanted to make a brandy and cola mix. You can't use the big brands when you do that, so you have to develop your own one. So we had one already that I knew was very good and it worked well with brandy, which is ideal for our target market. And when they did that, we made a post on Facebook and it went viral. It got like 1 million impressions and like 200,000 shares.
I'm envious. I've only had 150,000 views on videos, so maybe it would be incredible.
That was crazy. We just right time, right place, and
Sure.
we just made a joke, a meme, and it went viral, and we had to do it. And once we launched, the cola is now 1 year old. It went crazy. Those first few months, it was crazy. People got from all over the country. Our online store was so busy, and now we're fortunate enough that we've scaled up, and we are actually got DC deals now with big retailers, and we're starting to move into that area. But winter time, like I mentioned, is very tough for the beverage industry.
Well, because a lot of these are sold at point of sale in restaurants and clubs and bars, and people aren't out.
Yeah.
They're coming out now because it's coming into spring. Although a lot of South Africans still wear parkas at night when I walk around in short sleeve shirts. But anyway, so let me ask this, or correct me if I'm wrong about this. The name Boer, which means farmer, of course, in Afrikaans and Dutch, the origin of it. The name isn't really about, or is it really about farmers in South Africa? It was about the phrase where Boer maak 'n plan.
It was Boer maak 'n plan, and because there was no alcohol allowed, so you farmed your own beer. You
There you
made
go.
your own beer. So,
So
that's why we call
You
it.
sold brewing kits for
Yes.
people to home brewing, and they became the beer farmers.
Yes,
Essentially.
they farm their own beer and they make their own plan. Because
So that's brilliant.
yeah, and the good thing is that we're trying to promote the home brewing is because there's no alcohol tax on that. So that's a way how you can get back at
Get the full value out of what you're buying.
Yes, because the tax is killing the alcohol industry, and the sugar tax is killing the beverage industry because they're only in South Africa, it's only on soft drinks,
And
not on chocolates or anything.
I know, but also the other thing about sugar in South Africa, it's overpriced because it's a monopoly.
Yeah.
No one can ship sugar into South Africa, and the South African government and farmers don't seem to notice that. But they get angry when Namibia and Botswana stop importing vegetables and fruits, saying it's unfair.
Yeah,
because they block it coming in, but then they block sugar from other countries coming in here.
and it's killing so many jobs. The sugar industry, the sugar farms are closing down because of the sugar tax. Now all the other brands went and put artificial sugars in there because to cut and save money and make more profit. Where we did the opposite. So we have full sugar in this one, and the government nailed us on the sugar tax. But we prefer to do it because we like to support farmers in South Africa, and it's important to us to keep it. We are a very small company. It doesn't even make a blimp for them, but at least we lead by example. We're not virtue signaling and saying something, we're actually doing what we say.
Well, one day when you're big and huge and a name brand and a household phrase everywhere, then maybe you'll buy a sugar estate in KZN and produce your own sugar and avoid the tax altogether.
That would be great.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
That'd be incredible.
But hopefully one day we get a competent government in South Africa that it's business friendly, because in South Africa it's very tough to do business. It's not a very business friendly environment. So it's very tough to do business, and that's why we are so blessed and fortunate and grateful every day that we get the support from people, because it's not easy in South Africa to operate. It's really not easy.
So the label, you've got the Boar Cola label there. That's black and gold.
Yes.
Is there any significance to that? Because like my business logo, there's significance to the colors that I use.
Not really. Actually, my brother's Jock, he was the one that got the concept for this logo for the beer.
For the beer, okay. Which also has gold, but also has some white in here.
Yes. And my other brother, the oldest brother, Leon, he got a designer that did for us. And we just gave him freedom. We said, this is what we want to do. And we already knew by the first that the black and gold is our colors.
Okay.
So he went with the color scheme, but he came up with the logo and we loved it. And we said, we're going with that one. And people really give us a lot of compliments about our packaging, especially the cans. They love that black and gold.
It's very distinctive and it stands out.
White and gold. And we spoke to many people in the industry, a lot of the people that work for the big brands, they talked to us. And they said to us, you guys were very bold to go with a total different color, because all the colas is a red. It's always a red. But it was a bold move to go totally the opposite color, and it actually worked and paid off for us.
Well, I was going to suggest to you at some point, either through contacting privately or coming here, that when the Springboks win the World Cup next year, but that was before this season. Now I'm not comfortable with the fact they may not even get beyond the pool stage where they're playing. But if they actually won it, you could come out with a Buck brand. I don't know what the licensing is there, but something to celebrate a World Cup victory. But right now, I don't think you have to worry about coming up with a brand, because it doesn't look very promising for this World Cup.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Hopefully, we bigger one day like that, and we can support. But our focus would be school sports. We want to like the
varsity.
Yeah,
So would you be like sponsor Craven Week or something like that?
We would definitely look at that rather than the Springboks.
Okay.
Yeah, I would rather help young development than the big guys.
Well, and a big cola, not the beer so much.
Yeah, there's many more ranges in the pipeline, but like I explained to you earlier, it's development cost is a lot, and there's a lot of revenue that needs to go into every new product that you bring out. So there's a plastic, there's a can, there's a 2 liter, and then we're bringing out new flavors, and it starts over and over again. So there's a lot of capital that you have to put in. So it takes time, especially for a small company like us, privately owned. And yeah, we're just doing it ourselves. Like I said, we don't really spend on marketing. You told me you were with other people earlier and they didn't really know about it. And I explained to you that how it works for us is word of mouth.
Yeah.
We would like to put a good product out there. And that's why we appreciate honest opinions, because you'll never improve if you don't get.
You got the truth from me.
You have to get the truth if you want to improve. You can't just get sugar-coated comments.
You can't have people blowing smoke up your shirt.
I like the honesty. If you get honesty, that's how you can improve and grow.
Well, that's what people get on my program. You get honesty.
Thank you.
And people, you're welcome. But not everyone likes that honesty. Just ask YouTube. I don't always like it. So let's see. Well, let me ask this question. What's your biggest challenge? I mean, you've talked about taxes. You've talked about the brand becoming aware. Also, you guys had tremendous growth, especially when it came out of coal. It just soared. And then there's probably some growing pains with that. I mean, were you even ready for that surge in production? And could you not meet demand, or were you okay meeting demand?
We can keep demand now. We've got a good structure inside, but the biggest challenge now is the transport. With the diesel prices rising, that is the biggest hurdle for us now. It's transport. That is the biggest challenge.
And you have to rely on trucks because the rail system is dead.
Exactly. I've said to my family, imagine we could have shipped on a train the cola to Cape Town. How cheap that
or
would
to
be.
Durban. It's just
You'll see that the cola prices, especially because most of the can plants is in Gauteng.
Yeah.
So the cola is even all the brands. It's more expensive in Cape Town because of the.
It has to go from here to there. Yeah. Yeah, and it's ironic because if you actually, well, they're using artificial sugar, but if they were still using sugar, it's grown in KZN, and you think you bottle it down there, but I guess not. But this is really the industrial heartland of South Africa, so I guess it makes sense to go up here. So that's the biggest problem right now. Is the challenge is transport cost. No, listen, Danie, I had not been to Durban since 2013. Something. It's been a decade since I've been down there. And I knew that the roads were more clogged with trucks, but I could not have imagined just how much traffic it was. And it's crazy because with the rails being down because of rail lines being stolen, the cables being stolen, it's just a disaster. So many trucks are on the road, both directions. And the last time I went down, it was a pleasant drive to Durban until I got to Pinetown and the traffic picked up. But all the way down, it was pretty pleasant. The same coming back. But it's a nightmare now. You've got thousands of trucks, and of course you get the truck drivers that think they can go 3 kilometers an hour faster than the guy that they want to pass, and then they clog the lane and pull up in front of somebody. So I'm sure there are lots of accidents and fatalities, but for a business person, the biggest impact I imagine is the additional transport cost, because shipping it by truck is so much more expensive than it is by rail, and that's got to be frustrating. And you don't have your own distribution network, do you? You rely on another?
Yeah, we have subcontractors trucks that we rent, and we have our own barges.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. So we do most of the Gauteng deliveries for all the spas and the other retailers we do ourselves. And then when it's further than that, we use trucks. And obviously from the manufacturing plants, we bring in bulk with interlinks. But it's getting expensive. And the scary thing is with the petrol or the diesel prices that rose every single month, we just see how that goes up.
Erodes your profit margin.
Yeah, and we keep our price the same. We at the last minute, when everything went up, the CO2 gas went up, plastic went up, glass went up, we had no choice. But we waited for all the others to do a price increase, and we did a little one. But what people must remember, we pay the full sugar tax where they with artificial.
Sure. So you have that on top of what the others aren't really doing.
Yeah.
Now, you've got this phrase, Jy verstaan me.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did that come from?
It came a video. Steve actually made a video.
Steve Hofmeyer.
Yes. Okay. So we started out in the beginning. We sent him some beer kits and he promoted it for us. But obviously, also he first tried it because Steve doesn't really promote anything.
No.
We sent him and he made a batch and he loved it. And he made a promo video for one of his artist friends. Or he had a product, and he made that chicken where you put a beer inside the chicken and you cook it. And he used our beer, and as he tasted the beer, he said jy verstaan nie. You don't understand how good it is.
Yeah.
And that video went viral. We got like 600, 700,000 views, and people didn't care about the product that he was promoting. They just kept on asking about the beer. And yeah, so we coined the phrase from him. So it was so organic and original, and we just kept it. We liked it.
Oh, it's brilliant. So as a small businessman, as an entrepreneur, one of the things entrepreneurs do, and this is lost to a lot of people that don't understand business or know business, business people create jobs, and they create wealth, not for themselves, but for the wider community. So in Germany, they have something, the phrase, the Mittelstand, which is, it's the small businessman. So basically 50 employees or less. And that's the biggest part of the German economy. People think of Thyssen, and Krupp, or, all Bosch, all these big brands. They're there, Daimler-Benz, but most of the jobs and a lot of the wealth in the country is generated by the Mittelstand. And you're probably smaller than that right now. I'm not sure if you want to tell me how large you are with employees, but at some point you kind of will fill that gap I'm talking about, the Mittelstand. It's the same in America. The small businesses generate more new job growth than the big corporations that are established. So you guys employ people.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you contribute to the economy that way.
Yeah, we pay the income tax for them. And yeah, it's a good feeling to like the one guy who started out, he came out of high school and he couldn't get a job because of the circumstances in South Africa, especially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
because he was insufficiently pigmented.
Yes. And it's such a good feeling now. He bought his first car. He's told me he bought his car, and that's a good feeling if we can help young guys. And he's such a good employee. I'm so happy that he came to us. And he's such a reliable kid, and it's stories like that. You feel good to employ people, but it's also stressful because you have to keep paying those people. But yeah, that's why the circle goes full round. It's important, like you said, to support the smaller companies because they are actually doing indirectly more for the unemployed and building.
And growing the economy.
And growing, yes.
I mean, you started with your brothers, so I don't know, it's 2 or 3 of you, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, three, and now you've got a team of people working for you.
Yes.
And some of whom were not working before.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a crazy feeling, but like I said, we just blessed people keep on supporting us. People tell other people, and like at the beginning, it was people were expecting the cola to be immediately nationwide. It's such a challenge to get your cola.
I think people expect that and really have no idea what that entails.
They say, when can we get it? When is it coming? Then we tell them, look guys, it's available online. If you want to support us in the beginning, please bear with us. Order online. We've got very good courier rates, and if you order up to 30 kgs, it's a flat rate, so it stays the same. So we encourage people to order online to help us that way, but we're working on it to get it more in more shops around the world. Around the world. That would also be nice.
Well, that's coming. That's coming one day, maybe, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully, like you said, you guys importing cold drink. Maybe we should start selling in the US.
Or at least maybe license and have some producer there. There's a lot of what do I call them? Generic drink manufacturers who produce like Cot Beverages. It's a Canadian company. I used to invest in the stock of that. And don't get excited. It wasn't very, it's a couple dollars a share. But Cot makes the off-shelf brands for like Walmart and Target who sell their own labels. They make it in the same factory, different labels, and they sell it. There are companies like that in America and Canada that do that. They'll license the brand and they'll produce it, and you get something back from it, and maybe look at it. So maybe an option to take a look at.
But like I said to you earlier, our beer is one of the cheapest beer in the world. It's good quality. So if we would ever export, I would prefer to produce in South Africa, because to bring some money back into our economy and support job creation, because South Africa really needs it, especially our youth unemployment in this country is terrible. So I would prefer because I know we can make a good, cheap, quality product that we can land in other countries.
Let me help you out. I know you're not for con speaker first, right?
Yes.
You don't want a cheap brand, you want an inexpensive brand.
Inexpensive brand.
Cheap is different.
Okay.
No, Americans do this all the time. They say cheap, they mean to say inexpensive. Cheap is poor quality.
Yeah, no, that's what I said.
You want inexpensive.
Good quality at a good price. We can land it at a better price than the competition there. That I know for sure.
Looks like you were very much in demand.
No, sorry about that.
No, that's quite all right. So, were there any scary moments in the first 2 years? Starting business, making payroll, paying, suppliers. Was there ever a time like you went, oh my gosh, am I going to have to raid my bank account to pay my bills?
I think at the beginning of this year, it was like that. This on the first winter. This was the first winter that we actually the sales goes down, especially where I spoke to the guys where we manufacture. And he said everyone goes down in winters. You guys actually grew this winter, so compared to last winter. So it's good, but like I said, sometimes cash flow management is very difficult. You have to have stock on hand. You have to have raw materials. So managing that's the biggest challenges that we had thus far. We're very lucky and blessed. Like I said, we've got a lot of support from the people out there. And I think people support us because they saw we're not just talkers. We put our money where our mouth was. We actually did it, and they just support us. That's why this is the people's brand. Like I said to you, it's not us with genius marketing or anything. It's the people who makes this brand. Like Henk told you as well. When he goes to a braai, he tells all his friends.
And he takes them with him.
Yeah, he's like they are brand ambassadors for us. And the people make such good social media content for us. We don't even, you're going to go check our Facebook. We're not active there at all. It's just we keep on sharing other people's content which they create for us. And yeah, so we're very lucky in that sense. But I think the trouble is coming soon. We will, like every small business, you get growth pains. I think that we grew too quick, too fast, but we've managed it. It was not easy, but we survived it.
But that's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting and scary at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's scary at the same time. Absolutely. Well, Danie, I think we probably talk for hours, but I need to let you go, and I've got a meet and greet tonight.
Next time I will come on your show remotely.
Yeah, we'll do it via Zoom next time. We'll talk more about this, and we'll see where the company's going and how it's going. You'll let me know when that Weizen becomes part of your repertoire, because people know I'm kind of partial to Weizen.
Okay.
Anyway, so Danie Barnard, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything you want to say to the audience about Boer beer, Boar Cola?
So you guys can order online, boerbeer.com, boercola.com. So on boerbeer.com, we actually have good combos. You can buy the beer, you can buy brandy and cola specials. And we appreciate the support, guys, and just give us honest feedback and reviews, and can tell all your friends about Boer Cola and Boer Beer. And thank you for the opportunity, Chris.
You're welcome. And this is an exclusive. I've never endorsed a product. I drink Starbucks all the time, but I don't endorse it because they don't offer me money. No, just kidding. But I've never endorsed a product. I am endorsing Boar Cola. It's fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I'll let you know later if I endorse the beer or if I don't. Anyway, thanks a lot, Danie.
Thank you, Chris.
It. Oh, wow. Cool.
Have you tasted the Babala's Rescue?
The what?